Hey everyone, it's Joe, the 50-something Dasher, here again with another video. And this is going to be the first of a series. I'm going to call this the DoorDash Daily Recap. And for at least for the time being, this is going to replace the ride-along videos that I wanted to do. So technical difficulties with that. I recorded a video last night that I should be posting before I post this video, where I kind of talked about the problems a little bit. I had purchased a camera specifically for the ride-alongs, and I was not able to record for very long on it. I could only record for 10 or 12 minutes, and it would overheat and shut down. So that doesn't do me any good. So I don't have now any kind of secondary device. I mean, I need my phone for the door dashing and GPS and all of that good stuff. I don't have a secondary device to do a ride along as I'm dashing. So I came up with this idea this morning. What if I do kind of like a daily recap, kind of like a journal style video where I could show all the screenshots. So basically, and I mean, so that's what I came up with. So I think it's going to be this type of video to kind of recap my daily dashing. It's going to be harder, I think, as I'm dashing, because if I was just doing a ride along and filming as I go, I could just talk about the stuff as I go, and maybe on some of the offers I could show my phone to the camera and it'd be easy that way to explain things as I go. With this method that I decided to do for the time being, it's going to be a little bit more difficult because I'll have to compile all my screenshots and compile notes as I go, and then talk about everything after my dash is over. So that's going to be a little bit harder. But as far as finishing the final video, this video that I'm recording right now, and unless I do a whole bunch of coughing and I have to edit because of those reasons, other than that, I shouldn't have to do, little to no editing on this video, because I won't have to. I'm shooting this, of course, on my iMac, so I got all the screenshots at the bottom of my screen here, and as I'm talking about things, just pull up the screenshots, and so I'm not editing things into the video later. I'm doing the editing right now, if you will. So that's what I decided to do. Before I start on today's dash, I wanted to give an update on the whole camera situation. I mentioned in the video that I recorded yesterday that I boxed everything up, took it to the UPS store, shipped it out for a return. Well, I come back home and I'm putting away the rest of my items. And as I'm doing that and putting things where they go, I noticed this laying around, and okay, that's just great. That's just great. This is the battery compartment door to the camera that I just sent back. So I was upset. I was in a hurry to just box all this stupid camera back in the box and just ship it off. And in the process of rushing around and doing that, I left out a piece. So I don't know. Are they going to send the whole thing back to me and not issue a refund? Are they going to issue a refund anyway? Or are they going to do a partial refund? I have no idea. It just shipped out yesterday. I haven't gone to track it or anything. So we'll see. But anyway, getting to today's video. Now, I didn't come up with this idea until I was like 4 or 5 orders in. So the first few orders were in no particular order, 2 McDonald's orders and a Speedway order, and paying, all of them in that $4 to $5 range. So nothing really to mention. The Speedway was just like a couple candy items, was all that was. And I don't remember anything about, there was nothing interesting about those deliveries or anything. And then I got okay, so those were those three. The first three orders I mentioned. The fourth was an IHOP order that was that I took. It paid $5.75. It was probably like 9 miles, which was not a very good offer. And but the only reason I took it is because I had to go to the bathroom, and I know they got a good clean bathroom. And it's the one thing about me, and I know especially any men over 50 that may be watching this video, you know what I'm talking about. But obviously I'm now over 50 years old, and I have to pee all of the time, all of the time, all throughout the day, all night long. That's all I do. My whole life is pee. I have to go to the bathroom. About every other restaurant I'm walking into to grab an order, I'm doing that. But all jokes aside, it's funny because in my W 2, I work 12-hour shifts, and when I'm at my W 2, that's the exception. Anywhere else, I have to pee all the time, but not in my W 2. Go figure. It's probably because I'm a lot more active there than anywhere else. That's really the only thing different about it. But I can go 3 hours. I can go 4 hours at my W 2 without going to the bathroom. And once I'm outside of there, that's all I'm doing all day long. Go figure. So I take the IHOP specifically so I can go to the bathroom. And I get there, go back to the bathroom, somebody's cleaning it. So it's just wonderful. So now I'm doing a not so great 575 order, going like 9 miles, an order that I normally wouldn't have taken. Now I'm stuck with, and then I'm not going to drop it just because of my stupidity and the reasons why I chose it. I'm not going to drop it, an order like that. I went ahead and did it. And then I got a stacked McDonald's order. So let's see, my images, I had some pulled up earlier, so they're not in order here. But here's my, I got a stacked McDonald's next, and I believe one of them paid, I want to say $6. So there was one of them, and I didn't catch the amount of the other one. It was $4 or $5. I didn't screenshot that. But when I went to the McDonald's, I walked through the doors and looked at the pickup shelves, and I was there for 2 orders. There was 0 orders sitting out for drivers to pick up. So I knew there was going to be a wait. So I was able to go to the bathroom. Not only go to the bathroom, but I knew that I could take my time because I was guaranteed to be standing at the counter at least 3 or 4 minutes. So that was good. And let's see. Next was a Wendy's. You see there's 775, little over 9 miles. Not, not great. And I'll mention this in future videos, but I'm not real picky on the orders that I take. I try to shoot for $1 a mile, but if there's, an offer that's maybe maybe where the miles is 1 or 2 miles over, um, I'll still take an offer like that. Also, I wait here at home for offers a lot of times, and I'll talk about that in a video where I talk about my zone in more detail. But if I'm taking an order from home, then I'm a little bit more flexible on the mileage because I know from here to any of my pickup locations, I'm at least a mile and a half away. So this took me right up to about like 8 o'clock range, and so then I was right about like the $40 mark, somewhere around there at 8 o'clock in the morning. Oh, I should say, as far as what time I started the dash, I left that out. Um, I woke up early. I started this dash this morning at 5:36 in the morning. All total, I was logged in for over 7 hours. Um, I can tell I'm going to be having to do a lot. I'm coughing a lot in this video, so it'll be. I guess I will have to edit the video. Um, and let's see, what was I just talking about? So I started at 5:36. Um, go back to my notes page. So right around 8 o'clock range, I was at $40. And that's not normally a time. 8 o'clock is usually pretty busy for me. That's not normally a time that I would come back home, but I was close to home, and my wife was going to be leaving for work not too long after that, so I thought I'd stop home to see her and wait for my next order. So then my next order was a Meyer order. So 1025, 7.5 miles. So, and only 4 items. So, yeah, of course, I'll go ahead and take that. And so this next screenshot is the items. Pretty easy, just drinks. So you see there are two 20 ounces of root beer, a 2 liter, and then this right here was the only kind of tricky item. There's aisle 10, and that's the thing about these Meyer orders. And for people watching this and maybe like in other parts of the country not familiar with Meyer, it's kind of like it's a grocery. It's like a super center. It's like a Walmart super center. And actually, my very first job ever when I was in high school was for Meyer. But anyway, it's nice because they have the aisle numbers, which are for the most part accurate on these orders. But sometimes, like this item, for instance, I went to aisle 10, and there was no drinks in there. So my guess, and here's another picture of it, close up picture of that. My guess was that it was going to be in the up front in the produce area, and I asked an associate, and she was like, "Yeah, it should be up there," and it was. That's where I found it. Um, so that order ended up being not too bad. Um, then I declined the next offer. Look at this. Let's make sure it doesn't all get cut off here. Um, Look at that, 550 for 2 orders. If I just had to guess, the DoorDash part was probably $2 for both of the orders combined, so $1 each on that, and then 350. I'm guessing probably one of the customers left a $2.50 tip, and the other one $1. Just not worth it. Not uh, dropping off 2 different orders for $5. Pass. So that's that, and then let's see. Then I had this one. So I took that one. Just one order, 550, 5.2 miles. I mean, this really isn't that great of an offer either, but it's just one drop off, and it's dollar, dollar per mile. So I took it. Um, and then after that, then I come home. This was like roughly around 9:15 range, and that's normally the time frame that I come home. I usually it starts as my kind of slower periods that I dash are after 9 till about 10:30, 10:45, and then anytime after like 12:30. And in those time periods, I'm usually making my way home to wait for an order. But if I get something on my way here, then I just do the order. Okay, then this next offer, let's find it here. It's right here. So then I get a really good order. I mean, 1175, only 6 miles, and only 4 items. But it's easier said than done. Okay, so let's pull up the items here. Okay, so when I got into this store and saw this, I'm like, oh no. So it's kind of like my reaction that I have. Let's say, and I'm sure a lot of dashers, similar situation to when I bet a lot of dashers when they get to a restaurant to pick up an order and there's like three or more drinks, they're like, oh fuck, man. For me, it's the shopping orders where there's any kind of gifts, cards, party stuff, you know, birthday cakes and birthday candles, any celebratory type items. And I'm like, oh man, I'm going to struggle with this one. But here's the funny story about this. Okay, so when I take a look at this order right here, this is the order that I assume is going to be the how easy this stuff is going to be to find. Okay, so I take a look at this. The duct tape is probably going to be the easiest to find. Okay, so that's number one. Then I would probably say this tarp would be second, and then the headband, and what's going to be the hardest to find is this Meyer birthday sash, and there's no picture available. Okay, what is a sash? I'm sorry if I sound stupid, but what are we talking about here? I have no idea what this is, and there's no picture. WTF, what am I going to do? And but fortunately, I was very lucky because my wife hadn't left. Well, she was on her way to work, and she was able to help me out over the phone with this. So I go to look for the sash first, and okay, so I like I said, that's going to be the hardest. I'm initially thinking. Okay, well, what happened was, as far as what was easy or hard to find, everything actually ended up being the complete total reverse order. This was actually the easiest thing to find of the four. So once she told me what it was, I went over to the celebration area and I start looking. I found it almost right away. And then this right here, this headband. Now, when I blew up the picture, and when I actually found the item, it didn't quite look like the picture, but close enough. And I scanned it, and that was the item. And it was just like almost right directly below the sash. So those two things were easy. Um, Next was the tarp. I got back to, and this aisle number was actually accurate. And this isn't a household aisle. This was actually automotive. But I found this aisle number 21, went down it, and found the tarps. And then I just looked for this size right here, 9 by 12, and found it, scanned it, we're good to go. And then you know, wouldn't you know that the item that I thought was going to be the easiest to find was actually the hardest to find? Duct tape. I mean, come on. I go to where the duct tape is, and in the picture is your, just traditional gray duct tape. And I picked up gray duct tape. It was the right length and everything. Scan it. That's not the right one. I scanned one or two other gray duct tapes. Not the right one. I'm like, what the heck? And so I'm trying to figure this out. Finally, because I don't want to mess around with it too long, I mark it as unavailable, and so I can see some substitutions. And one of the substitutions was a black roll. So I picked that up, scanned it, and the scan it took that. So, um, and then that actually delivered. Do I have it? I think I have it in my notes here. And then this order delivered actually right practically next door to us. There's like a assisted living facility that's practically next door to us, and it delivered there. And then I was able to come home. The closest, just as a side story here, the closest delivery to home that I ever made was not my neighbor, but my neighbor's neighbor. So in fact, we live in an apartment complex. So basically, for that order, I pulled into my garage and then got out of the car with the order and walked it over to my neighbor's neighbor. Um, then, like I said, I returned home. Okay, then the next offer I got was this right here, and which is not good for several reasons. I mean, it barely makes the dollar a mile, 15.50, but 13 miles. You got to figure the miles coming back from that too. And the item count wasn't bad, 8 items, but here's the two things right here. This is problem number one, okay, that it was going into downtown Columbus at this time. This is the worst time for me to be taking an order like that. 10:45 to 11 a.m. That's when my heavy like lunchtime starts. For whatever reason, here in my market, the busy like lunch hour is not 12 like you would expect it to be. It's 11 to 12. After 12, I sometimes, a lot of times I'll start dying off, especially 12:30. It just dies off. It's 11 to 12 is when so absolutely not. I would not take an order going into downtown. This would have had to pay like, now if that was paying like 35 or $40, I'd go into downtown and skip my lunch hour for other orders, but not $15. So, and then the next order I declined as well. Let's close that out. So here was the next one. And you see, I had to wait for the next order. I waited like 15 minutes. Normally, my phone would be going off with orders, but I waited, like as you see here, 15 minutes to get the next offer, and this wasn't. I mean, $5, 5 miles, but it was going south, and I'd have to return back to the area, so I declined. held out again for something better. Um, then a third decline in a row. This is only 50 cents a mile, so and then you see that came just a minute later, and I can't take that one. It's 11:11. I've got to get like something good here. Okay, and then finally I get something. Okay, a high pay offer, $6 for a mile and a half. Boom, I'm on it. So I can knock this out in not even 10 minutes if the order's ready. $6, in just a few minutes time. So I went ahead and took that one. Um, and then my next uh, offer was this, again, another pretty decent one. So I had to, I didn't, by passing up those other orders, so I passed up like a $15 order going downtown. I only got over the next couple orders $13. So I kind of, on this particular day, I kind of lost on I gambled and kind of lost today. But but that's kind of like a rare thing for me. I'm able at this time of the day. I'm usually able to get a little bit better offers than this, and sometimes a catering order if I'm lucky. But I took this one, $7 Chipotle, and kind of a funny story about this one. So the funny story about this one is, so I go to pick it up, and it was just one sack of. It was one of these orders where they all ordered off the Chipotle websites. I don't know. I don't know what the orders were, or what the items were, I should say, because they didn't order it off the DoorDash. But the sack wasn't too heavy. It was probably just a bowl. And so I go to deliver it to the customer, and I pull up in front of the customer's location. I park and everything. I'm starting to get out of the car, and I look down at my cup holder, and there's no drink. And I think my heart might have skipped a beat even when but I was like, oh crap, what happened to the drink? Did I leave it on the counter, or I hope I didn't leave it like on top of the car or something, or what happened? It took me a few seconds to realize there was no drink with this order. I was kind of confusing it with the Wendy's order, because that Wendy's order was such a quick order that for some reason in my head I thought I was still on it. And another problem was, I throughout the dash, ever since I come up with the idea to do this video and this kind of style, then it was on my mind throughout the dash. And that was kind of like interfering from me, like thinking straight, keeping my mind on the task at hand. And I just kind of had a brain lapse. But I had the customer's order. It's just the one sack of food. I delivered it. There was no missing drink. Then after that, I had a little bit of time between orders. I went back to Meijer, and there in that whole entire parking lot, there's only like 3 or 4 good parking spots that have shade from a tree. So I like to park in the shade when it's warmer out, roll down the windows, and I'll just like close my eyes and take almost kind of like a waking nap until I get my next order. Just, head back, shut my eyes, wait for the next order. And so the next offer was here, and this wasn't bad at all. 550, 2.8 miles, um, and just pretty pretty standard, decent quick order. I don't remember it was ready when I got there. I don't no problems with the drop off or anything. Then I finished the dash with a catering order actually. So if you're not on the program, you haven't seen, what this looks like. You can tell by this right here, this gray box, catering bag required. Now, um, one of the reasons, now it's kind of rare for me that I'm kind of on the fence with a catering order, but this one I kind of was. It took me, you see, my timer got down to past 13 seconds left here, but I was kind of on the fence on this one, of, I mean, this was kind of low paying for a catering order. $13 is on the low end for these type of orders. Now, any catering orders that's got a hidden tip, I take every single one of those. So if this would just say $6 with a hidden tip, $9 with a hidden tip, if I see a plus sign, I'm taking it because in my experience, there are a lot of the ones that I take that are like 9 plus ends up being somewhere in that $25 to $30 range usually. Um, but they didn't hide any of the tip on this one. I knew from the start it was 13.25, and so I went ahead and took it. So this was going to be, I have a daily goal of $100 a day, and this order right here was going to put me in 99 bucks. So I went ahead and took it, and um, what was kind of interesting about this order is I got to the restaurant about like 13 or 14 minutes early. I was kind of surprised because after I checked in, I mean, I only waited there a grand total of maybe not even 2 minutes, and I had my order. It's just, in two bags, they fit right in my catering bag, and then off I went. So I was really lucky on not having to wait. And then as soon as I confirmed that I picked up the order, the customer I recognize right away. So that's always good when you get when you get a delivery point that you've been to a few times before. I have two customers, two businesses that I've delivered multiple catering orders to each one, and one of them's a food bank, and then this one is a trucking company. And I like I said, I've been there at least 3 times before, maybe four, and they're really nice people here. Usually they come out and meet me in the parking lot to get the food when I get there. I don't even have to go in. Today I had to go in though. But another funny thing about this particular drop off is every time before I pass the entrance, I don't know why, but I always think that it's the next building that I'm supposed to go to. And I was so proud of myself. Today, I entered into the right driveway to where I was supposed to go without passing it and having to turn around for the first time. Hallelujah. Um, and and then that was my last. I finished off with that. It was little after 12:15, something like that. Then what time did I actually log off? I logged off at 12:44. So maybe when I dropped that off, maybe it was more like closer to 12:30. And then I was kind of tired. I was getting kind of hungry. I probably mentioned before, but I don't, on my dashes, I don't eat breakfast, and I typically don't eat during the dash most of the time. Um, so when I just do this until I like to reach like right around the $100 mark. And if I get to that point, I'm getting tired, I'm getting hungry, then I just go ahead and call it quits. Then I decide to make my way towards the gas station so I could go ahead and fill up today so I don't have to mess with it in the morning before tomorrow's dash. And I also got a car wash and something to eat. So I stayed logged on until I got to the gas station, and then when I didn't get anything and got to the gas station, logged off. So it was $99. And as far as mileage, I believe, yes, it was 104 miles. So I just went 5 miles over today. So, you know, that's not bad. So anyway, I don't know if I'll like tomorrow. If I'll probably do this style of video again tomorrow, and yeah, I probably will. Unless I change my mind in the morning, and so as far as my daily, everyday experiences and the dashes, uh, I guess this is how I'm going to do it. Um, in this style, like I said, until I first have to get my money back from that camera, then I have to uh, figure out what kind of equipment I'm going to use going forward. And that's another thing I just remembered. If anybody watching this video has some ideas, suggestions for me about a good second form of equipment to use for my video recordings, like on a ride along, by all means, drop some suggestions in the comments. Yesterday, I was kind of doing a little bit of researching, and I saw in a couple different discussion board type places, a couple people were mentioning like the iPod Touch as a possibility. So I was kind of checking into that. I know they're discontinued, but you can still buy them for like 100 or 200 bucks. That's a possibility, but I correct me if I'm wrong. Comment below if, but it doesn't look like they have. I don't. The video quality might not be as good as say like my iPhone here with the triple camera. I've got a 12 Pro, and all those iPod touches just like a single lens camera and not as good at video quality. Let me know in the comments on that. I don't know. I might go with a different camera, or I don't know. Or I could just continue to do my recaps in this manner and not do the ride alongs. I think I prefer to do the ride alongs, though. I think that's a little bit more interesting, probably more engaging, um, than me just talking about everything afterwards. Um, but just be patient, bear with me. Like I said before, I'm just starting this channel, uh, working through all these, all these different failed experiments, and I'll get there. I'll keep working at this, and hopefully I get there. So just bear with me. Like I said, if you have any comments, suggestions, anything at all, let me know. Comment. And so that is it for my first recap video. You know, hopefully you enjoyed the content. As always, check out my other videos. Like, subscribe this video, share it, tweet it, subscribe to it, comment on it. Do whatever you have to do to get this channel off the ground. And that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. Okay, so I ended up going on a second dash actually. I do that sometimes, like when my wife is working a later shift, like until 8 or 10 p.m. Sometimes I'll log off of that first dash. I'll come back, eat a little something, maybe take a nap, and I'll get back on another dash for a couple hours. And that's what happened today. And so I logged in. It was probably about like 5:30. Logged in for a couple hours, so I thought I'd add the second dash to the video here. So the first offer was this $14 Meyer 10 items. So pretty good offer. Went ahead and took it. You see only 7 miles, and then it was just like grocery items. All 10 of these items was in the grocery. There was two 24 packs of water, but no big deal. And then, but I did have one tricky item that was hard to reach on the shelf, and I took a video inside the store of that. Check this out. Look where these barbecue chips are at that I gotta get clear way in the back. Okay. Come on. Top shelf all the way back. And then I had a photo for when I went to deliver. It was kind of a tricky delivery. I pulled up and I had to walk through this pretty lengthy distance through this wide yard area to get to the customer's front door. So I had to carry both of those 24 packs. I could have parked over like the end of the sidewalk, but even parking over there was still going to be a little bit of a walk. So sometimes I wish I had something in the car, some kind of little foldable cart or something, situations like this that I could put stuff on and wheel it over to the door. But I mean, no matter what I got, that would probably take up room in the trunk. And so, I have to, but I don't run into this kind of situation too often where I have to carry stuff farther distances. But anyway, I took a picture to get some perspective on how far to walk with stuff. And before shooting this video, I was trying to edit the picture and delete out address numbers and things like that. I ended up ruining the picture, and lost it. So, and then, so here was the final breakdown of the pay. So the tip amount was $5 on that. Then my second order, let's close these out, was this was a good order here. This $12, only 4 miles, Giant Eagle. My delivery point I was less than a mile away from the Giant Eagle. So went over there, and I think I got this image here of the items. Just 3 pints of Ben and Jerry's ice cream. How easy. So went in there, found they were in stock of all 3 of those flavors, and then the delivery was about 3 miles from the Giant Eagle. Easy money there. After that, I had a decline. This right here, this for a second dash where I'm just trying to pick up some extra money, and I also, last day of the month, I need to keep my acceptance rate over 70. It was 75 when I started the second dash, so I knew I could have 5 declines and still be good, maintain my 70% for September Top Dasher. So I could afford to decline this. I actually passed by that Frisch's and was past it when I got this offer, and I'm not turning around and going back to it for and messing around with this order for only $4.50. And then the next order I took, went ahead and took this Donato's pizza. I got this right when I was right on the street, right next to Donato's. So I got the offer, I turned in, I parked, but it wasn't that location. It was the other Donato's, which was fine, no big deal. So I figured by the time I worked my way over to the other location, the order should be ready, and it was. Um, and here's the so there's the breakdown of that one. It was only $2 for the DoorDash base pay on that, but $6.50 tip, so $8.50. And then I was kind of craving something to drink, so while I was in there, I bought like a Diet Pepsi for myself, so that worked out pretty good. And then that was the last order I did. I ended up doing so. I had 30, just three orders. Like I think it was, what was it, $34, right? 34.50. So plus the 99 from earlier. So, and I only drove. Let's go back to my other notes here. Oh, I deleted it, but I believe it was only 23 miles for the second dash, so I did good on mileage. So then after that third delivery, I kind of wanted to come home and do some video editing and that type of thing. So, but I left the app open and but I was gonna, at this point I'm just gonna play the DoorDash lottery. So I'm only gonna take something that pays like at least $15, and I knew that I could drop 4 to 5 orders and still be good with my acceptance rate. So that's what happened. I ended up dropping 4 orders actually. So here's the first one. Um, Only 4 items. 13.25. Not a horrible order, but this is going out of zone to the west side, and I wasn't. I would have had to pay more for me to go out of zone, and I would have done it if it was like over 20. I probably would have took that, especially it only being 4 items. But um, that was a decline. Next one, it was 3 straight Meyer drops here. The next one, now this one was only 1 item. So, and I mean, earlier today in the first dash, I would have took this order in a heartbeat. But again, out of zone. So, no thanks. Like I said, I'm just playing the lottery looking for at least $15, and so decline on that one. And then and this one normally I take this order right here probably 99% of the time. Only not even 4 miles, only 4 items, $9. Normally I'd be taking that, but again, nope, decline. And I had, as I was trying to decline this, I was driving, I was on the street that I live on, and I was having problems declining this. I got to I hit decline, got to the list of reasons, chose my reason, and then I'd be stuck right there, and I couldn't decline it. So I don't know what was going on, so I had to pull up to my apartment, stop, um, and then basically I restarted the app. And I think another order was trying to come through where they were trying to stack one of these My orders with another order, and but because of the app issues, I couldn't see it, and it didn't come through. I don't think it counted on my acceptance rate either. Um, but I restarted the app, and then now I was home, but still had the app on, and let's try like one more offer, which did come across this PetSmart, and not bad as far as pay versus the miles, but look at this right here, 41 items. So, and you're really, now this could, you're taking a huge gamble here, especially like at a pet store. This would have been a huge gamble, because if I'm not a big pet person, and I don't really and truly know my way through a pet store. I sometimes, depending on the items, I kind of struggle. But I have done PetSmart orders, and for the most part, I can find everything and don't struggle too much. And something like this could have been super easy. It could have been only four different kinds of cat food and 10 cans each. And it could have been like super easy, but we don't know that by looking at the offer. It could be like 41 different things, and I could have been in that store like an hour. And so I'm not, it's the end of my dash, and I'm not chancing something like that. Um, you see the time here was 7:40 p.m. I was logged into the dash until I put 8:30 as an end time, and so after this order, I went ahead and logged off, and that's it. That's it for that dash, and that's it for tonight. And we'll do this all over again tomorrow. So again, thanks for watching.